Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be looking at the world of custom notebooks and planners and journals.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, we've got some excerpts here from an article by Leo Shia.
Okay,
He's the CEO of Lion Paper Products, and he's kind of sharing some of his secrets on how to make a notebook that really stands out from the crowd.
I like it.
I know, right? You hear notebooks and you're like, okay,
All
boring,
right,
but trust me, there is way more to it than you would think.
come ready.
Yeah, get ready to have your mind blown a little bit because boring notebooks are going extinct.
Ooh, I love it.
So first off, apparently the notebook market is like insanely crowded right now.
Yeah, apparently. So, Layer Shea points out that 70% of consumers are more likely to buy from brands that offer customized, high-quality stationery.
Wow, 70%.
70%.
I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised. I have like way too many notebooks at home.
Me too.
But it's more than just aesthetics.
Absolutely not just a frivolous trend. It speaks to this consumer desire for personalization and products that reflect their values.
So it's like you're not just buying a notebook, you're buying an experience.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
So he has some really cool examples like eco-friendly materials
Okay.
and unique designs and modular layouts.
Wow.
It's about making a statement.
Yeah. Imagine like you're in a meeting and you pull out your notebook and it's not just functional, but it's like totally why you,
Yeah,
you know? That's brand power right there.
totally. And speaking of brand power, the Promotional Products Association International found that 83% of consumers actually remember the branding on promotional products.
Really?
So those notebooks, they basically become mini billboards for your brand.
Okay, now that's some next level marketing.
Right.
All right, so with all these people wanting custom notebooks, what are some of the trends that we're seeing? What's hot in the notebook world right now?
Oh, that's a good question. So there are three key trends that are really shaping the industry.
Okay, lay 'em on me.
All right, so first up, we've got sustainability.
Okay.
More than 60% of consumers say that they prioritize eco-friendly products.
Mm-hmm.
So for notebooks, this means recycled paper, sustainable forestry practices,
Yeah,
saving the planet one notebook at a time.
makes sense. I feel like so many people are trying to make more sustainable choices these days.
Totally.
And I love that it can even extend to something like a notebook.
Right. All right, what about number two? What's the second trend?
Okay, so this one is all about personalization.
Ooh, fun.
70% of consumers are willing to pay more for a product that is customized to their liking.
Interesting.
So this could mean offering a variety of cover designs,
Okay.
different types of paper, or even layouts that are tailored to specific needs like note-taking versus sketching.
Yeah, that makes sense because everybody's got their own preferences, right?
Totally.
Like some people love lined paper, some
Yeah.
people like the blank canvas.
Exactly.
And, don't even get me started on the paper itself. Like, there's nothing worse than a notebook where the ink just bleeds through.
Oh, like you can't even use both sides of the page.
Yeah, and this is where GSM comes in.
GSM.
Yeah, grams per square meter.
Okay.
And Leo Shia, in his article, he really stresses the importance of this.
Oh, interesting.
It's basically a measure of paper density.
Okay.
So the higher the GSM, the thicker and more luxurious that paper's going to feel.
Oh, I see.
So for a high-end journal, you would want a higher GSM. But for everyday note-taking, you could go with something a bit lighter.
Huh. That's cool. I did not know that.
Yeah,
I feel like I've learned so much about paper already.
it's fascinating.
It is. I'm looking at my notebook differently now.
I know, right?
So it's kind of like choosing the right fabric for a piece of clothing.
Exactly.
You want the right material.
Yes.
Okay, so besides the paper itself, what else should we be thinking about when it comes to notebook design?
Well, binding is another big one.
Okay.
We're all familiar with that basic spiral binding,
Yeah.
but there's also perfect binding, which gives a more sleek, book-like finish. Right. Or you can even do hand stitching for like a truly unique artisanal touch.
I love that.
So each type of binding has its pros and cons, both aesthetically and functionally.
Right, because I've definitely had my fair share of spiral notebooks that have just fallen apart on me.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So speaking of functional design,
Yes.
Leah Shia mentioned these modular planners with interchangeable inserts.
Both those are so cool.
Right, like you can literally customize the layout to fit whatever you need.
Yes.
What a great example of innovation in what seems like such a simple product.
I know, right?
Yeah, it really is. Like it challenges that whole idea that a notebook has to be a one size fits all.
Exactly.
All right, so we've talked about sustainability and personalization. What is the third trend that is like shaking up the notebook world?
Okay, so the third one, it's tech integration.
Ooh.
We're seeing more and more notebooks that are incorporating these tech elements. So
Yeah.
it's kind of blurring the lines between the physical and the digital. So imagine a notebook with a built-in microphone that like transcribes your handwritten notes as you write.
Well, wait a minute.
I know.
A notebook that transcribes my notes.
I know.
That sounds amazing, but also maybe a little bit intimidating.
I know, right?
Would people actually use that?
Well, I mean, it might sound futuristic, but it's becoming a reality. And just think about the possibilities.
Okay.
This could be a game changer for students, for professionals, really anyone who takes a lot of notes.
Right.
And for businesses, this opens up a whole new world of data collection and engagement.
Okay, so it's not just about the novelty of tech.
Right.
It's about actually enhancing the user experience and making notebooks even more functional.
Exactly.
So even something as simple as a notebook can be a platform for innovation.
I love that.
It reminds me of something that Leo Shia said in the article.
Okay.
He said, "You design, we deliver."
Hmm.
But I'm curious, what does he mean by we deliver? Is it just about the manufacturing?
Well, it's actually much broader than that. He emphasizes the importance of like the entire process from design to production and then actually getting the final product into the consumer's hands.
Okay.
So he talks about building strong relationships with suppliers, ensuring transparency and open communication every step of the way.
That makes sense, because you could have the most amazing design in the world, but if you can't get the materials that you need,
Right.
or if the manufacturing process is unreliable,
Exactly.
then it's all for nothing.
Totally. And he also talks about the power of data-driven decisions.
Interesting.
So by analyzing sales data, customer feedback, and market trends,
Okay.
businesses can stay ahead of the curve and make smart choices about product development and inventory.
So it's about using data to not just follow trends, but actually like anticipate them and adapt quickly.
Exactly. And he gives a great example of this.
Okay.
So he noticed this spike in the demand for eco-friendly notebooks.
Okay.
So what he did was he ramped up production of their recycled paper line, and it ultimately led to increased market share and a stronger brand reputation for them.
Okay, so like looking at the data and making those changes based on what you're seeing.
Exactly.
Okay, so besides being data-driven, what other wisdom does Leo Shia share about running a successful business?
Well, he's a big advocate for embracing technology and automation,
Okay.
especially when it comes to procurement.
Oh, interesting.
So, using digital tools to track orders, manage inventory, and communicate with suppliers can really streamline operations and just reduce errors in general.
Oh, for sure.
He actually notes that companies that use these tools see a considerable reduction in delays, and we all know time saved is money earned.
Right, exactly.
It just makes everything smoother.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's not just about efficiency for efficiency's sake, right?
Yeah.
It's about using those gains in efficiency to focus on the things that really matter, like innovation design, creating products that people truly love.
Yes. And he really stresses the importance of continuous improvement.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
It's about constantly gathering feedback, analyzing data, and making those adjustments to improve processes and products.
So it sounds like he's advocating for this kind of like growth mindset.
Yes.
Not just in terms of the business itself, but in how they approach design and innovation.
Yeah, always learning, always evolving.
Love it. And the interesting thing is that these principles aren't limited to the notebook industry.
Right.
I mean, this could apply to any business,
Exactly.
regardless of what you're selling.
Totally.
So whether you're selling notebooks or software or even, artisanal cheese, it's about understanding your customer, creating a unique and valuable experience, and constantly looking for ways to stand out in a crowded market.
And always being one step ahead of the trends. What's considered innovative today might be commonplace tomorrow.
Right, exactly. Which brings us back to this idea of continuous innovation.
Yes.
It's not a one-time thing. It's this ongoing process of pushing those boundaries, experimenting, finding new ways to delight those customers.
I love that.
So we've unpacked a lot about the business side of things,
We have.
but I kind of want to bring it back to the listener for a minute.
Okay.
Why should they care about like the evolution of something as seemingly mundane as a notebook?
Well, because it's not just about notebooks.
Right.
It's about a way of thinking.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that even like the most everyday objects
Yeah.
can be reimagined, redesigned, reinvented.
Okay.
It's about finding inspiration in those unexpected places
Yeah.
and then applying those lessons to your own life, your work, your creative endeavors.
So it's like this microcosm of innovation.
Yeah.
It's this reminder that even in a world that is like so saturated with technology, there's still room for creativity and ingenuity in like even the simplest of things.
Totally. And it all starts with a simple question.
What's that?
What if?
What if we could design a notebook that like anticipates our needs? You know,
Right.
a notebook that helps us organize our thoughts, that sparks our creativity. That's a question worth exploring.
Yeah, and I think that's what Leo Shia and, other people like him are doing.
Yeah.
They're pushing those boundaries of what a notebook can even be.
So as you're going about your day today,
Okay.
take a moment to like look around you
All
at the
right.
everyday objects with kind of fresh eyes.
Mm.
Maybe it's your coffee mug.
Okay.
Maybe it's your backpack,
Yeah.
your trusty old notebook.
Mm-hmm.
What could be reimagined? What could be improved? What stories can be told through design and innovation?
The possibilities really are endless.
Yeah.
And sometimes even like the smallest changes can have the biggest impact.
Oh, totally.
I mean, think about how the invention of the Post-it note revolutionized the way we jot down ideas and reminders.
Right. Such a great example. Like
Yeah.
innovation isn't always about creating something entirely new. Sometimes it's just about finding like a clever solution to a common problem.
Exactly. And that's what makes this deep dive so fascinating.
Yeah.
We've explored trends. We've talked about the power of personalization and sustainability. We've even touched on like this fusion of technology and design.
And we've learned that like those principles behind successful notebook design,
Right.
they can apply to any business or creative endeavor. It's about understanding your audience, creating a unique experience, and always striving for improvement.
So to wrap things up, I have a question for you.
Okay, shoot.
What's your ideal notebook?
Ooh.
What features, what materials, what design elements would make it truly unique to you?
That's a good one.
Yeah. So think about how it would feel in your hands. The way the pen glides across the paper,
Yeah.
the sense of satisfaction you'd get from using it. Don't be afraid to dream big.
I like it.
Maybe even like sketch out some ideas. You never know. Your dream notebook could be the next big thing.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll be doing a deep dive into your innovative notebook design someday.
I would love that.
All right, well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of custom notebooks.
It was my pleasure.
We'll catch you next time with another fascinating topic. Until then, keep those creative juices flowing and never stop exploring.